welcome back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is episode 34. Also, the recap for episode 3 of War of the Worlds. My name is Zach, and as always, I'm joined by my wife, Hannah.
Hey, what's up?
And my best friend, Jake.
How's everybody doing tonight? We got started tonight with a banger from 1,000 Foot Crutch. Last week it was 12 Stones, and tonight we're going to light up the sky as the song is titled.
You guys won't hear that
That
because
was a long intro.
we don't own the rights to any of those songs, so also I don't want you to hear it.
Well, one of your favorite bands, 1,000 Foot Crutch, TFK.
Hey, what are some other songs we don't have the rights to?
Literally any. I'm not even 100% sure we have the rights to this song, but I'm pretty sure.
Well, and here's the other thing. Me and you and I, we're wearing our camo hats. And God dog, we're ready tonight.
So, real quick up top before we get into that, if you don't follow us on social media, at Smashing Heads on Twitter, at Smashing Heads Podcast on Instagram, search for Smashing Heads Podcast on Facebook, smashingheadspodcast@gmail.com. If you need to email us anything long form, which I feel like some of you will, because I have an announcement in just a minute, but we feel like we've probably gotten some new blood this season, new people listening. So real quick, I know we're 3 episodes into the season, but we just wanted to just kind of reintroduce ourselves, and so you know who we are and our background with the show. Jake and myself started watching the show probably mid-2000s. It was when, again, The Miz was on, like 2004, 2005, something like that. We're watching it independently, didn't know each other. We're actually watching, and then...
You knew each other, but you didn't know...
We were friends, but we didn't, like, it wasn't something we talked about.
Yeah, because you guys have been friends your whole life, but you didn't know that you were each hiding in your closet watching the show.
That is not accurate. Never hid in my closet.
Jake probably did.
My brother and I played cards in the closet.
There you go.
Your brother used to watch the show with us.
Right.
I can guarantee you he doesn't watch it anymore because we don't even talk to him, but that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah. He's a weirdo now.
Yeah.
A little bit. Love him, but he's a weirdo.
I hate that I didn't get to meet him before he lost his funny.
Do you think he listens to this?
Probably not.
No way.
I mean, look,
He's busy.
He probably is busy.
He's doing other things in life.
Couple of kids.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't think any of us know where he lives anymore.
No.
Even what state or country.
Yeah, but the 3 of us, we obviously have a lot of time on our hands.
Yeah, so, well, speaking of that, we do this show because we enjoy it. We kind of think we bring a unique perspective. Jake and I have been friends most of our lives. I married Hannah.
Good one.
I'm going to knock my water over.
You did that last week, too.
Almost 3 years ago.
It'll be 3 years in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and so Jake and I have a longer history with each other and the show. Hannah started watching around Bloodlines. And so we've since gone back and watched old seasons. So it's a different perspective because we all kind of bring our own unique side of things. I will say, we record immediately after we get done watching it, which on Wednesdays, it's not a good day for us. So
it's really hard.
It's almost 11 o'clock here.
And we just now started.
Yeah, and the show airs at 8. So it is what it is, but we do it because we want to get it out the night of because that's something we established last season, and we want you to have something to listen to in the morning.
Well, and we also do it not only because we have big brains, but we have big hearts.
Big butts.
Well, I don't know if I have a big butt. I have big thighs.
I got big legs.
True.
I have thunder thighs as they are defined.
Nothing to be ashamed of. Those thunder thighs.
It is when you rip holes into your jeans all the time. That gets expensive.
Never done that with my thighs.
Well, Jake.
What can you do, right, Zach?
That's right. And so, we do this the night of, and again, if you're looking for a really tight, concise 30 to 45 minute show, we don't edit anything.
We're not yet.
So we don't edit anything out. We just record right off the cuff and get it up as is. We don't have time to sit through and edit everything, and we just want it to be free flowing anyway. We don't want to have like hard cuts in and out. It's pretty rare. The only time I ever edit anything is if I have to sit down because it's something we record remotely, and the audio drifts a little bit. But other than that, we just give unfiltered just kind of takes on what we can do. But we also keep it GPG because we know some people listen with their kids or with their spouses or whatever, or at work, We don't want to do anything that will kind of make people angry.
We don't want to upset the kids.
No.
Always have the kids in mind.
I'm not sure how many kids listen to podcasts, but
if they do, we're the one to listen to.
Yeah, and speaking of just past 40,000 downloads, wanted to shout out to everyone on that. I think we've hit 63 countries that we know of. Does that sound about right?
It's on up there. I lost count a few months ago.
Well, I had to count for someone the other day, and 63 I think that we know of, and then there's like 25 that just say other because they weren't specified where they came from. But other than that, the announcement that I said earlier is some of you know about it because I think we teased it on a earlier show, maybe even been last week. But we are recording with Dee this Sunday, which will be Monday in Australia.
It's a good time to get her too. This was though Wes took control of things. This will be a good one to talk to her about.
Yeah, I was a little worried about. Again, they teased last week a big name goes home, and I wasn't sure how things were going to go. But Dee's coming on. We're excited to talk to her. I'm glad she's still around. I didn't want this to be recording with her after she's already gone and only 3 episodes in. And so if you have questions for her, make sure to reach out to us on Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, email us, anything you got like that. We already had some people that have emailed us some questions already. So I know we announced it at some point.
And we'll do better this time. I think in the past we've had some gripes about not necessarily asking the questions that get sent our way. But when you're carrying on a free-flowing conversation with these people, it's easy to get lost in it. And by the time you're an hour and a half in, it's like, oh boy, we got to wrap this thing up, So we'll do better this time.
That's part of it is you just kind of get... I have most of the questions that we get written down, and then we get into talking, and it's just like, do I really want to derail like kind of a natural conversation to like shoehorn in these questions? If they flow in, then that's fine, but... we'll see how it goes. Some questions are weird, so we're not going to use those. But other than that, we're good to go. Before we get into tonight's episode, real quick shout out from I guess the last 2 weeks. Not shout out, but an apology actually. Apparently, Hunter's not from Georgia.
Yeah.
We've all just been assuming that.
Well, we've been following your lead, so
I don't know where I got that. I swore he lived in like
Georgia,
deep Georgia somewhere, but apparently he's from Florida. So it's not really a coincidence that his partner's name is Georgia anymore.
No. Shame on us.
Yeah, it is. I had someone that called me out on it, and then I looked it up, and they're like, he's not from Georgia at all, right? And I was like, nope, that's our fault. And I think that was me that started that. But speaking of that, we lead off with them tonight.
And we find out what the relic's about.
Yeah. The relic, it was the teaser last week. That was the big like cliffhanger, I guess, going in because we knew Hunter and Georgia beat Ashley and what was his name? Chase?
Yeah, Tinder Chase.
Yeah. The Bachelor guy. And so TJ explains the relic. I think we all threw out a bunch of different theories. I don't remember.
It sounded real familiar to what I had brought up, that somehow this was going to either keep you safe the following week or you were going to be able to hold it for a certain week. But it just keeps you safe for the 1 week.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I wrote down what I thought it was. No, I think we were just kind of going off the top of our heads on that. No one really knew at that point because it was a new concept, but we now know that you're safe the next elimination. So, as we saw on the daily, that completely changed the way Hunter played the game. Because, again, you have no repercussions. You're just trying to help your alliances out at that point. The first thing we kind of see tonight, speaking of Georgia, is a little Wolverine on the side of his neck. Bear.
Right. Yeah, where Hunter and Georgia are getting relics to keep them safe, Bear's trying to give out necklaces for appreciation. Is that...
Yeah, I didn't understand the necklace talk. I didn't know if he was saying he was going to get Georgia one or he's gotten her one.
Do you think that Bear watched last season and saw that Kyle left his necklace?
Was it a necklace or was it a ring?
Necklace. His ring was on a necklace.
Yeah, I knew it had a ring involved, which we talked about rings later on in the episode.
And so Bear's like, oh.
Was it his nipple ring on the necklace?
That's what you do for the ladies.
So speaking of that, we're not into the daily yet. Once Kyle's eliminated, he's on the side yelling, and I was like, I forgot he has nipple rings. And I was like, that's a scary thing to do with that elimination when you're rolling around in the mud and everyone's pulling on each other and
tear that thing right out of there.
That would, I have to imagine that's like you can't even put into words how much that would hurt.
There's a scene in Final Destination.
Which one?
The first one.
There's like 18.
I believe it's the first one. Maybe the second one.
I've seen most of them.
I believe it's the first one where one of the kids that have died, they go to see
not Devin Sawa.
I think he's not dead yet.
Yeah.
But I think it is the first one because I believe he was in it. But they go to see the guy that knows everything about death, and he speaks real weird and stuff. And so he's like, as he's talking, the camera like zooms in with his little tongs here, gripping this nipple ring on this guy. It's the second one.
I don't remember that.
It's the second one.
I don't think I've seen the second one fully.
It's the second one. And then he's like trying to rip it off in the middle of him explaining death's design, and he just rips it off right through the nipple.
No, I didn't see that.
That was a point of that scene there. And so either way, though, he didn't feel it when he was dead.
Oh, he's dead already.
He was dead.
Yeah, I definitely didn't see that.
Yeah. So no, it can't be a good feeling.
No, like that seems like if you know you're going to go on a challenge, you're like, yeah.
Take your nipple rings out, man.
Even if they close up, just get it re-pierced later.
Yeah.
Like, it's not worth the because especially this season, purely physical.
Yeah.
And you don't I can't even think about it. But speaking of Kyle, we had the whole Georgia, again, I think we've said before, the British people seem to be a little bit hornier than everyone else.
Hey, that's not a good word to use.
Well, it's what they
They're
do.
more promiscuous.
And so right after the whole Bear and Georgia thing, they immediately cut to
The kitchen.
yeah, it's Cam and who?
Davon.
Davon, that's who it was. I couldn't remember the other one.
Maddie.
Well, no, Maddie is in the kitchen
Maddie
with
is
Kyle.
in the kitchen. That's right.
I couldn't remember who was watching.
She eventually joins them on the couch, but yeah.
She does.
Yeah, and so they catch Kyle and Maddie kissing, and at this point, again, I'd forgotten they were partners because there's so many partners.
I knew that they were partners because they were like two peas in a pod. They're both out of their minds, but pretty funny. Yeah, my note was Maddie and Kyle get caught kissing, all caps partners, in parentheses, very bad idea.
It's interesting. I can't think of another. I mean, I'm sure Paul, someone will fact check us on this. I can't think of another season where a partner like hooked up with their own partner. But can you think of one?
Well, it's not knowing each other prior.
Oh yeah, they've only known each other for what, like a week at this point?
I don't know. I did think it was funny that after Cam and Davon started yelling and laughing about it and kind of giving them a little crap, Cara comes in and tries to talk to Maddie all serious and trying to warn her, and she even said people don't like him.
Before that, though, she yelled across the house that now she said something along the lines
STDs
of
now.
yeah,
girl.
you'll have STDs in your mouth now. And that's when I wrote down. I was like, Cara, I was like, just shut up. Like, I get you don't like Kyle right now, apparently, but at the same time, the whole last season was about trying to get his attention still. And
well, the thing is she's supposed to be so happy with Pauly, so why does she care what Kyle's doing? If he's kissing other girls, she shouldn't care. She shouldn't do what she can to insert herself into the situation.
that's what was dumb when she's like, hey, I'm just looking out for you. People don't. I was like, no, you're not. You're just trying to be like in everyone's business because it's Kyle.
What got me was just the fact that she said nobody likes him.
And
everybody loves Kyle.
well, I don't know about that, but we like Kyle. I think as a podcast, we can all say we like Kyle.
I think most of the house likes Kyle.
I'm not saying I think what he does to people is good.
No, but he's hilarious.
I do think he's funny.
She also called out his looks.
Yes.
Mentioned that there are much better looking guys here.
Yes.
Yeah.
What I think,
Which is very hypocritical for her, who's like, everyone should be free and love themselves as they are.
Yeah.
And come on.
the thing here is that Cara is, if she has a high horse, she's on it.
Oh, she's got a horse.
Yeah.
And so, but do you think she has a high horse?
I mean, horses are pretty tall.
But I'm talking a high horse.
I mean, it's a tall horse. I've seen pictures.
Okay, so in that analogy, she's got one of the highest horses in the land, except that it also wears like Joker face paint.
The rider wears the Joker face paint.
You know, this analogy is not going to work.
I don't know where you're going with this.
Polly is the rider. She's riding.
She's the horse?
No.
He is kind of riding her coattails to fame.
Absolutely.
We'll get to Polly tonight.
So maybe she is the horse in the analogy.
I don't know. It's dumb to me for her to care so much about Kyle and then say,
no,
"Oh, I
she
don't
still
care."
got it for this guy, man. Like,
yeah,
it's
I'm telling you, I've been saying this since day one. It's Kyle, and part of me thinks she's just using Polly still to this day just to kind of get in his
my whole
face.
thing is she was like I think she at one point said he's a bad person. I may be misquoting her. I just know the note I wrote was Polly's way worse. Like Kyle's a scumbag. Let's not make any mixed signals here. But you can't say Polly is any better of a person than Kyle is. I mean, at this point though, when they were filming, I'll give them credit. Cara didn't know that Polly had been continually cheating on her with Danielle, who
even at this point,
who she came to terms with and did a whole podcast crying about Danielle and with Danielle actually, and someone from like People Magazine or US Weekly or Us Weekly, however it said. And
I think it's Us.
So I'll give her that. She doesn't know that at this point, but she's slowly turning, like Polly is slowly turning into
Her
and Kyle even to an extent. Like we saw it on the reunion. We saw again. There's famous clips from his Big Brother season. He just like
morphs.
turns into who he's around and who he kind of is like obsessed in quotes with at the moment.
So in other words, you would say he adapts to his surroundings.
I don't think he adapts to his surroundings. I think he wants to be other people so bad.
He adapts to the people in his surroundings. No, my last thing on Kyle and Maddie was I'm interested to see where this goes because Maddie she doesn't seem to be like anything like the other girls that he's dated, Kyle has in the past. Also, they're sitting on the couch in front of Cam and Davon.
To be clear, they're not dating.
No.
Yeah.
But Maddie starts to kind of put him in his place, and Kyle doesn't know how to respond, but he likes it.
Yeah,
he likes it a lot.
He said, "I've never had a woman do that." Yeah, it's
so I'm interested to see where that leads to because she seems like the type that's gonna put you in your place no matter how long you guys have been friends, dating, whatever.
Yeah, I know. Currently, he's dating some blonde British girl.
The one that he's got a tattoo of on his leg.
No. I think that's a whole nother thing. I mean, it may be the same person, but I don't think it is.
That's why you don't get tattoos of other people.
Yeah, Cara. Nobody talks about that. Wait? Had this season filmed before he got it or after?
This was after. I'm pretty sure.
This season was after the tattoo?
I think so.
So we'll see it at some because he doesn't wear much clothes. We'll have to see it.
You know what? We'll know.
If anybody knows the timeline on when the season filmed and when they filmed for How Far Is Tattoo Far,
let us know.
Yeah, because I don't.
If not, I'm sure we'll find out eventually because he likes to take his clothes off.
Yeah.
Especially when Kyle's around because he thinks that he can like do like a weird little like the animals in nature where like
the animals in nature.
Yes,
yeah.
when the female is like sitting on the sidelines and the one guy wants to challenge the other guy and whoever wins or looks better gets the girl. And I feel like Pauly does that in front of Kyle, like to try to
peacocking.
Yeah, like he peacocks with Kyle.
Speaking of, you ever heard of Cat and Heat?
You gonna do an impression?
I will not.
Do it.
Do it.
No.
Honestly, I really don't think I have, but
Jake, if you have, we are not moving on any further until you do it.
Just keep talking.
No, you have to do it. No, I want you to make the noise with your mouth, or otherwise we're not even going to bother.
So one quick note before we move on from that situation, I did, and I don't know why I wrote this down. I wrote that Cam called Cara out kind of in the middle of that. Basically, like it's not your business. I didn't write the quote down because.
Yeah, I noticed that, and I was like, "Yeah, you go." Yeah, Cam.
Okay, so Jake's got it ready to go.
What if this is not a real video? You're kind of really taking a risk.
I know. I'm putting your mic close.
Oh, it's Ned.
Okay.
Jake.
Good one.
It's okay. Hold on.
This is what I was saying.
Let me know when it's ready, because I'm not gonna go.
I think it's.
Oh, that's just them. Wait. That's it.
How many are there in this video?
It sounds like they're fighting.
Hold on. Let's see what this one sounds like.
What?
We're gonna have to
Why
watch
are we
another
doing
ad.
this?
It sounds like she said Elmo. I don't like this.
Oh, she did it again. So cats in heat say Elmo.
So the daily for this week is is called Search and Destroy. I think a lot of their dailies and stuff are going to be out in the middle of
Shout out to the cats.
of the desert. The horny ones.
Yeah.
And
Quit using that word.
so the Search and Destroy is basically there's going to be 4 rounds. The first one, the guys ran first to find these balls in this like big brick. It's not bricks, but it's like concrete maze almost. And there was 12 balls and 15 teams. So 3 teams are getting eliminated each round.
Each round.
Yeah, and so the first one, they go out, and I can't remember who
Well,
gets.
hold on a second. Wait.
You're gonna jump in?
Are you gonna blow by this? Are you even gonna?
I feel like it's gonna be something poly related the way you're acting.
It is.
Yeah.
Because you guys certainly want to address it. Do you know who finished first, right along with Ashley? Wait a second. That's the guy's heat. I'm jumping ahead.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know what
you
you're
know,
I'm
doing.
so excited to
You're-
talk about.
you're
give Paulie his due again.
You're so horny for Polly that you can't even get the sequence right. So I can't remember who gets the first balls across because there's so many rounds. It's 4 rounds. It's hard to keep track of what's happening. You did get notes of everyone who got eliminated each round.
That's right.
Basically, it came down towards the end because you're just safe. If you make the top 12, you're safe for the next round. Then it go on until I think there's 6 left, and then the final 3 who get the balls across are the tribunal for this week. And so I didn't have a lot of notes on the first round because there's so much going on. There's so many people fighting. 12 teams are going to make it. The only note that I had was Wes kind of realizes towards the end of the round, I don't have a ball, which, by the way, he's walking across the tops of the pillars, which was smart to get a top-down view of everything. And he basically just runs up to Dee and is like, hey, you're taking her ball, talking about Shailene, who Leroy had just kind of handed probably the last ball to. If not, it was like one of the next to lasts. And I was like, smart move. Dee didn't hesitate. She didn't argue. She just went right for it. And Shailene. Yeah. She looks to be one of the weaker competitors at this point.
Kind of like the twin that made it onto the show.
Yeah, I'd say those 2 are the bottom 2 of the females at the moment. Because, like, I don't know what they bring athletically, and I don't know what they bring Like, we haven't seen any of them, like, do anything in the house at this point.
No, I kind of forgot that they both were even on here.
Yeah, and so Dee, shout out to Dee. We're interviewing her on Sunday. You got questions, send them to us. She just went for it. Took it. They're safe. And, Jake, you got who was eliminated first round. Here we go.
The first teams that were eliminated were, of course, Shailene and Leroy, Amanda and Josh,
Yep.
and Morgan and Bananas, because Morgan ended up getting ganged up on by Cam, and I believe Natalie was the other one, maybe.
I can't remember.
There
It
was
definitely
somebody else,
It definitely
too.
was Cam.
It may have been Amanda, because Cam came away with that, with that ball.
Yeah.
Oh, and I think that was the round where
She
they all.
said, I can do this all day.
And
Yeah.
we're like,
So
we like Cam.
That's our girl.
Yeah,
Love
yeah.
Cam.
That's our
And-
girl.
She's great.
Top 5 in my book.
I know.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, she did that, and I was like, love that attitude. She's ready to fight him. And she got across. They're good to go. Her and Ashley, they're going to be a good team.
Yeah.
Like, we thought that going in, but that was a good pick by him.
The more I see them both compete, the more excited I get to watch them compete more.
Yeah, and so they do that. They win. I mean, not win, but they're safe for the next round. Bananas and Morgan were targeted. Like, they clearly were targeted by other teams because they didn't want them advancing. And it worked. They were out immediately. They had no chance to be in the tribunal. Like this, if anything is taught this episode, is if you've got a shot, you got to take it when you have it. Wes proved that later on in the episode. Johnny retroactively showed that he didn't when he had the power the first episode. He didn't go after Wes, and it's going to come back to bite you. You never know when you're going to have these positions of power, and so you got to take the shots when you got them. And so
next round,
those are limited. It switches. Then the girls go out to find the balls, and they hand it to the guys to run across. And so
this was the round I was excited to see because the girls were not as physical in the mud pit.
Yeah. Some of them just literally just walked by. Like Davon's like, I just like Miss America waved the whole time because they're fighting over Morgan.
Go ahead and say what needs to be said first.
So was it this round that someone threw the ball and Paulie and Theo went after it, or was that the next round?
I'm just trying to point out that Paulie,
he can run fast. Yeah.
Is that all you can say about it?
At this point, yeah.
All right.
I know for this round, he was the first guy to get across the safety line, but nobody went after him.
It does benefit him that he's quick because the first balls people don't fight over because you're like, hey, I still got time to find one.
This was a game of speed.
Yeah, I will say the next round, he was quicker than Theo when someone threw it. And Theo had his hands on it first, and then he missed it, and then Paulie took it and he ran by him. But he did good in this one, but it's not to the level of like God tier, which is what you're trying to make it sound like.
But it's continued.
He didn't have to wrestle for a ball. He didn't fight for it like a lot of the other guys did that came out.
You guys, it's just continuing from last season.
No,
he's continuing to perform.
No,
I didn't see him do that much work.
If it was last season, he would have already been eliminated a long
that's
time
right.
ago.
He would have
but
already been
those
home.
weren't the rules last season.
He would have been home to the other woman he was fooling around with behind Kara's back.
And there's a reason that this season is rated so much higher than the other one already. But yeah, the weird takeaway in this round, it's not a team sport at all. Like this is individuals. Now Hunter is the only person that has like the weird, I'm going to work with Wes because
it doesn't matter if they're in last place.
Yeah, he can't go into elimination. They start ganging up on Zach. I can't remember who it is, honestly.
It was like 2 or 3 other guys. Yeah. And Zach didn't even have one of the last balls. It was just the fact that he had one, and a lot of people decided to go after him.
Oh, I think it was one of the last ones. I think at this point it was towards the end. And because, again, it was close, and they teased last week it was going to be a big name going. And so it was like, is this where Wes goes home? And so Wes is kind of standing near the line. Like, he's playing, like, as a safety in football. He's, like, the last defense before the touchdown. And then Zach gets, like, ganged up on, and he just throws it ahead, and Wes just catches it and runs over the line, and that's when he yells, like, work smarter, not harder.
That's right.
Which was going to be the episode title. But then we ended up getting...
Probably how he runs a lot of his businesses, too.
Yeah, he's
incredibly intelligent.
Weirdly, my dad says, like, that phrase a lot. And, like, it's perfectly true. Like, Wes, this eliminate... Or not, the Daily, he had a lot of breaks coming their way. Again, his partner fought off the first round. He got the ball thrown to him the second round. The next round, CT just hands him one.
Yeah, CT had an extra ball, and he sees Wes come around, and he's like, here, take it.
And so...
Which, speaking of CT, before I know
where you're going.
Second set of eliminations, boy, that gut is in full effect this season.
He was the only guy out there still in a shirt.
He's newly married.
Hey, you know...
He said last season he was working on it, and he looks a lot...
He does look better.
He looks a lot trimmer.
But man, that wasn't a flattering angle. I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Because I had you rewind it and pause it.
So
I just love him so much, though.
Yeah, he's great.
So Wes makes it across.
Right.
Read the 3 teams that are eliminated.
3 teams that get eliminated here are Kyle and Maddie, Zach and Sahida.
I think it was, if not the last, it was next to last. It was close.
And then Bear and Davon.
Yeah, and they didn't do anything in this elimination.
No.
And so
I don't expect much from them.
Some people are really high on Bear, and then all the Big Brother people love Davon, which I will say I'm coming around to her.
Yeah.
I didn't like her the first season, honestly.
I didn't either. I think Davon spending more time with Cam makes me like her more.
Yeah, and
because Cam has a good temperament and a good personality.
Yeah, I didn't like her and Jose coming in like thinking that and they also came along with Polly and whatever, like, oh,
Yeah.
we're Big Brother, we're gonna own this game,
And they didn't.
and so yeah, the next round is when it's a guys' heat again. There's less people at this point. Is it 9? I guess at this point, and so there's 6 balls. Somehow CT, like we said, winds up with 2 of them. He's just wandered around in the back, and he just kind of looks at Wes. I was like, "Hey, you need one?" Tosses it.
That Rivals 2 team.
I wrote that down. I was like, "That's that Rivals 2."
Yeah.
They became legitimate friends on that season,
Yeah.
and that's a really fun season to watch, and that all pays back after all these years.
Well, CT invited Wes to his wedding.
Yeah.
They took a
Like
picture.
they legitimately became friends on that season.
Well, while he was helping Wes out, his partner Julia wasn't helping him out so much. The whole smiling and laughing while Ninja Natalie's wrestling the ball away from you, and then just
Yeah,
here you
she
go.
She just
kinda
gave
let
it up.
go.
Like, yeah, when that happened, I was like, oh no, it's like CT's got another teammate who's not gonna fight, and like, to be fair, Natalie's one of the most intimidating girls out there, especially if you are Liz, and
Julia.
is it Julia? I got him wrong. Well, anyway, if you're her, but like it looked like she just gave up within like 10 seconds. Like when Cam was in there, granted Cam's a lot bigger. She's like, we can do this all day. Julia's like, I just would rather sit on the sidelines. And
that sucks because it's not fair to CT to have 2 not competitive teammates in a row.
yeah, I hope she, for his sake, gets better as the season goes along. I'm glad he wasn't the one going home because he didn't really get a great chance last season, and then this season, again, it looks more of the same thing.
Doesn't look like he has that great of
But-
a chance.
So who were the 3 that went home this round?
Home.
Not home, but sorry, that got put out.
That would be Julia and CT,
Yeah, because she gave up.
Nani and Turbo.
Surprised me. That surprised me.
I was sad
I think
about
that was the one where Nani was fighting at the very, very end, right on the line.
Mhm. And then not Natalie Ninja.
Yeah, Natalie
Ninja
Negrati.
Natalie. Yeah, Negrati. Natalie Negrati and JP.
Yeah, this was the round where Nani was like right on the line, and Georgia pulled it away at the last second to get Hunter basically to the next round.
I forgot Natalie was on here.
Yes, not a whole lot of Natalie this episode.
Yeah, and that's something people have pointed out on Reddit. They're like, Natalie, because people overreact to everything, not just on Reddit, but Twitter and just. It's an hour long, and there's so many people that they can't focus. And someone made a thread that was like, "Are they trying to push Natalie out of the challenge now? What's going on?" And people are like, "It's just there's a lot better storylines happening right now. She's just kind of blending in. Like I don't feel like they're trying to force her off the show."
No, but I haven't seen much of her at all this whole season so far.
JP did good tonight. I like him, and they may be good as a team because again they've got a language thing that they can communicate and confuse people.
What is he, an astrologist? Is that what he is?
He's an engineer.
Engineer.
He is. First of all,
Those are 2 very different things.
yeah, not even that. Astrology is like looking at the stars to determine your
Stars
future.
and signs.
Hey, I didn't go to college, so.
I took astronomy in college, so that was a really cool class actually.
Not the same. Astrology is horoscopes.
Horoscopes, and
Or horse goats.
horse goats. That's cars. That's
That's
what
what
she
it
said.
is. Horoscopes.
Yeah, so that was a close round. I thought Nani and Turbo were going to make it because Turbo took off like a cannon in round 1 to get to the balls. But it comes down to the final 6. The girls are looking for the balls. The guys have to fight it out. That's the best way to do it because that you've got the biggest guys like fighting for these last spots. Because at this point, if you don't make it in, you're not safe from elimination unless you're Hunter. And surprisingly, Hunter's still in there because Georgia doesn't like physical contact, but she was fighting Nani for the last ball. And Nani's a tough girl. Like she's not huge, but she's not like gonna roll over.
She's tooth and nails.
Yeah.
And who was the first to cross?
This one?
Yeah.
Paulie, this was the
That's
one
right.
where he
That's
got...
right.
Well,
He said it.
But you know what my note on that is?
What does your note say?
Gus is an idiot.
Yeah, that my note was Gus ...
Because his reasoning was like, I'll just throw this ahead and I'll go get it in a minute. And as soon as he threw it, 2 players were right on it. Like, that's not smart at all. And I will say, I think Paulie would have made it regardless. I'll give you
Yeah.
that. But you got to admit, that was stupid on Gus's part.
Are you going to call Wes stupid?
No, Wes didn't throw it ahead.
No, I'm saying, all right.
We're calling.
This is a false equivalency.
But hold on, you're equating what happened with Paulie to luck.
No, because I just told you, I was like, I think he would have made it regardless. But this particular situation was Gus is an idiot. In the other situation, Zach was an idiot.
Yes.
Well, to be fair, we don't know Gus that well, so.
What?
He's on possibly the dumbest show to pull people from.
The thing is, he's from the show called Floribama Shore, and I know an awful lot of people that spend their time on that Floribama Shore, and I can tell you they would do a lot of Gus-like things. And it did not surprise me that much. I was just a little bit disappointed.
I will say he seems nice. Like, he doesn't seem like a jerk, but he also is not very smart at this point. He may turn out, again, he's not an astrologer like JP.
Well, when Gus did that, Jenna just did a big eye roll. I felt bad for her.
Yeah, we got a few like Jenna like face reaction shots tonight. So we get to later on in this the daily, and
Hannah couldn't sit down.
That's true. She was standing up. But before we get to that,
that's what I'm trying
Hunter,
to get to. Yes.
Yeah. So Hunter is in there still, and he has nothing to fight for, but he is in an alliance with Wes, and Theo, arguably the fastest person in the house, and also can get through the mud the easiest because he talked about that in round one. He just kind of took 5 strides and he was done. He comes running in like full speed, and Hunter just like body checks him like how hockey players do, out of bounds, like into the like dirt and sand and rocks and who knows whatever else. And people on the sidelines were like, "Oh, can he do that?"
I was thinking more along the lines of it was like a football play where he was trying to knock him out of bounds so he couldn't get any further.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same. Regardless, it's like you have someone running at you and you just are there to level them. And
he did.
And Hunter's a big guy. No, actually, he's not that tall. I think
he's short and stocky.
I found out he was like 5'8" this week.
But he's pretty stacked.
Yeah, he's thick, and like he hit him and knocked him out of bounds. He wasn't unconscious, and I was like, he's still fighting for Wes in that alliance because at this point he doesn't have anything to fight for.
Yeah,
like he's safe regardless. So he's just trying to screw over some other teams because he knows. I think at this point wasn't Paulie safe.
Paulie was safe.
Yeah.
And Wes at this point was safe.
So he knew Wes was in, but also Paulie was in. So if Kara's partner Theo gets in, that's 2 versus 1 no matter what Wes is trying to do. So then this is where the big culmination happens of all the guys that are left just fighting for that last spot. And this is where we get the famous Kyle yelling "kill each other," which is from the teaser like a month ago. And that's when I noticed the nipple rings was kill each other.
You got quite the eye for nipple rings.
It like reflected, like it got hit in like the light.
The sun hit it just
right.
right.
And I was like, I've seen this clip I don't know how many times now because that's like one of the big teasers. And I was like, he's got nipple rings in.
Yeah, nothing quite like sun hitting the nipple rings just right.
You know, it gets me every time.
Here's my question for the night. Are we learning something about you that you have a thing for nipple rings?
Hello.
So,
Is that like a thing?
I learned that whenever I think of like physical contact, that's something that I would not want anywhere near me. Because that's what it was. I was like, first of all, there's lots of mud. I don't know how nipple rings work. Like, can like mud get underneath there into the hole?
Probably, but if it's healed enough,
that's even worse.
No, look, if it's healed enough, it's just skin and then like a hole and then more skin.
But if
it's not like an open wound.
But again, if that catches on somebody's finger or on their shirt, you just
yes. If you get something caught on it, ow. But if you get mud in it, you can just take it out like a belly ring or a normal earring. Clean it, wash it out, and then put it back in.
And I noticed the tribunal thing. He's got one of those bars on the top of his ear too. Does he take those out? Because that seems like that's hazardous too. Like if it's just not a good idea to come in with a lot of weird piercings in a physical, quote unquote, sport.
I live a little, Zach.
Yeah, he is. He's living for me. And so yeah, they do that. This is the big clash. I don't even remember who had the ball to start with.
But you know who came out with it?
My man.
Ashley Kane.
That was one of my picks from the beginning of the season. Him and Turbo were the guys that I was like, these guys can do some damage.
Well, they were fighting so hard that I kept I was getting real bad anxiety, and so I kept rocking, and then I stood up and had to take a few steps and then sit back down, and then once he crossed the line, I jumped up and was really excited. I just really like him.
Yeah, I like him, and he brings physically a lot. I want to see what he can do in some other things.
Mentally.
I don't remember what place he got on the puzzles.
He wasn't very low.
Yeah, I think he beat Wes and some of those people. And so, yeah, at this point, I was really upset because we knew Ashley made it. They're the final ones. And we're like, that Wes is going to call out Bananas.
Right.
The reason I was upset was because last week they teased one of the legends goes home, and it was CT, Bananas, Wes, Zach, and then Cara.
Right.
And so one of those 5 is going home unless they just lied to everyone, which I think they were legitimate. And so at that point, I'm like, well, we know Bananas is going in, and I was like, he's not going to call out CT. He's not going to call out Cara. He's not going to call out, we thought, Zach at that point, and Wes is safe.
Yeah.
And so I was like, Zach's friends with him, CT's friends with him, and he's close with Cara. I was like, he's going to go after somebody else. He can't go after Hunter because he's safe.
Yeah.
And I was like, so we know Bananas is going home.
Unless somebody got in a fight, which is something
that's the only thing I brought up is unless someone gets in a fight beforehand. Because at that point, there's 30 minutes left in the show.
And I was really hoping somebody would get in a fight.
Well, I was just mad at MTV for the way they edited it. But it turns out, we'll get to it, he calls out
somebody else.
He calls out Zach, and you're like, oh, well, one of them is going to go home. But, yeah, we get done with the daily. I think it was even before the tribunal and all that. Bananas is not going at him, but he's like, he is blaming Zach for what happened. And Zach and Wes both say, seemed legitimate to me. There was no prior planning to this. This was, he got caught up in the moment. He wasn't thinking, and Wes just happened to benefit from it.
Well, I mean, this happened after the tribunal meeting when they nominated their people.
Yeah, that's what I couldn't remember.
Because the first thing that happens is the tribunal comes together, and Polly's like, well, how's this going to go? We all know I'm going to throw in Kyle. Yeah. And obviously nobody's surprised. And Wes is like, well, I'm after Bananas. Again,
and I don't blame Polly either. If you got your shot, take it. Take out your number one person.
And so, I mean, Cam and Ashley were the only team that we didn't see in the meeting who they were going to put in.
They left it as kind of a small cliffhanger.
Yeah. But it ends up being Amanda and Josh.
Yeah, it got revealed the next scene. It's just the way they edited it. But they basically showed the people coming in to see whose names were gone off the board.
Yeah. And Amanda was really upset. She's like, why would they go after me of all people? But Cam's explanation for it was, we don't want to stir the pot with anybody else.
Yeah.
And they've already been thrown in, so why don't...
Amanda causes problems. Josh Josh shouldn't even be on the show, quite frankly.
Yeah. So, I mean, why make anybody else upset? Just go with who's just been thrown in previously. And it made sense.
Because you can't go after Hunter, and Ashley Mitchell is gone.
Yeah.
So Amanda's the only team that's been voted for that you can't throw in.
Right. So...
I did appreciate Amanda's when everybody's going in to plead their case, right? I appreciated her if you get to know me stance.
Yeah.
I really appreciated that.
I'll say so again, I'm part of the subreddit from our, if you see Smashing Heads podcast on Reddit, it's me. It's not Jake or Hannah. And we're all part of the Facebook groups, I think.
I don't know how to get onto Reddit. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, so it's always me. If anyone talks from Reddit, it's me. And people legitimately hate Amanda. Now again, when the first season her and Nelson came in, I couldn't stand them. She came in hot. She was like, we're here to turn this game over.
I remember that.
Yeah, they were a replacement for somebody. And They came in like trying to run things. Over the past couple of seasons, I don't hate Amanda.
I don't mind her.
But
she does get on my nerves.
I can see why people don't like her. I get it. I don't see why. Well, part of it is I don't ever see how it can get to the point to like calling someone's job and like
trying to get her fired.
And people have done that with her.
Yeah.
That's insane to me. But
like, go live your own life.
Yeah, I get you don't. There's people on the show we don't like. Clearly, Paulie's one of those people. I would never figure out where Paulie works and be like, do you know what he's done? He's done
on TV, on the television.
Yeah, you should fire him.
Give me your best Vince McMahon. You're fired.
You're fired.
That's not it. I'll do that. Do you want me to do that?
I want you to be a cat.
I don't want to do the cat's meow.
Do Vince McMahon in Heat.
No.
Okay. I don't want to listen to that. Anyway. So, yeah, that was Amanda's plead. Kyle and Maddie had to come in and plead their case. I think Kyle was not that.
They were last. They were last.
Yeah.
Bananas
I think that they were not that concerned because I think Kyle knew that Wes was not going to call his name because he's too concerned with Bananas.
But he knew Paulie and Ninja Natalie.
Yeah. He knew that. And so his whole pleading thing was solely directed at Paulie. And he even said so himself. He's like, don't put us in now. You need to take me out yourself.
Which is a cop-out, but also I think it appeals to Paulie's ego.
I'm telling you.
He's like, I can't take him out.
Kyle is smarter than you think. He is pushing that button. He can read Paulie pretty easily, and he knows that that's something that would kind of trigger him a little bit. Like, oh, I want to be the one to put my physical hands on you and put you out myself.
Yeah, and to be fair, depending on the elimination, it could go either way. Like
right.
Like something like tonight, that's anyone's game.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think he was trying to kind of appeal to that egotistical side of him.
And I think it could have worked. I did think it was funny that Maddie piped up and she's like, also, we're pretty funny.
And
that's a good reason to keep them in the house.
They are funny. And then at some point, Wes said, as the fourth most attractive couple in the room, I need you guys to leave. And but we did skip Bananas and
I didn't really have
Morgan.
any notes on that.
Well, it's just a Bananas West showdown.
Yes.
You know?
Bananas.
How many times have we seen this?
I think Bananas came in a little bit too cocky because he genuinely thought that Wes was the only one that called him in and that nobody else would vote for him.
Well, and I don't, Jake, as a wrestling fan, did you notice his like nods to, all right, is this getting real now or is this part of the game? Like, he's like, is this like, you're really going to do this now this early on, or this isn't just playing it up for the show? Like, did you catch those nods in there?
Yeah, and so
I did.
This is what has always made Wes great, is because he's not one to let his enemies linger.
Yeah.
He's always one to take him out, which is primarily Bananas, to take them out whenever he gets the chance.
Because, again, you never know if you're going to be back in that position of power. Your teammate could suck at, random little things, and you're not ever going to have that shot again. Like, it is carpe diem, seize the day.
We have seen this kind of situation before in recent seasons where two arch enemies have had... One of them has had the opportunity to call the other out into elimination and then decided not to, decided to wait, and then they themselves either don't get the opportunity to ever again or they get eliminated first.
It goes back to last week. Hunter immediately is like,
why would you
Ashley,
wait?
I'm going for Ashley.
You might not get the chance to again.
And if you don't know about Wes, he is a fan of the challenge still. Like, even though he hasn't been on in a handful of seasons other than one of those Champs versus Stars or whatever, I think
those
maybe
don't count.
He hasn't had time to get away from his business. He said on Challenge Mania that before this season was announced, he's hoping to get to a place where he has people underneath him at his work that can handle things while he's gone, because I think the Champs versus Stars is like 6 weeks and it's all in like LA and you stay in a hotel, they have their phones, all that stuff. This is obviously, you're out of the country. So he has to have people in his place that can take care of it. So he he's a fan of the show. He's seen how these last few seasons have gone without him. And he's been on enough of them that he knows, like, you just got to, if you have the shot, take it. Like, there's no way around it.
Yeah.
If you play scared, you may never have this position again.
Well, the thing was, what I noticed, a lot of like these kind of newer people on the show, but have been on a couple seasons before. They even said they're like, "Oh, he's going after Bananas, the legend Bananas," and I'm like, "Yeah, Bananas has been on this show for a long time. Wes was on it way before him."
I don't know if it was way. I don't honestly. Wes has been on longer. I think.
Yeah.
No, I think Wes has been on the show longer than Johnny.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Did you?
Yes, I said Wes was on it way before him.
Oh, I got that backwards, what you were saying.
No,
I
Wes
just
was on the show
misunderstood you.
way before him because back when it was the challenge Road Rules versus Real World, and each partner had like a different colored Hanes cotton T-shirt from Walmart.
Yeah, now it's all. I need to figure out when Under Armour starts sponsoring them.
The thing here, and this just hit me, I didn't even make a note about this, is that do you realize this is 3 seasons running now where Bananas has been called out?
So,
Early on.
Devin.
Yeah. One.
Tony.
Yeah.
Which didn't go up against Tony, but Tony put him in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, that was Devin,
That's the same
wasn't it?
season.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm thinking I'm adding one maybe.
He went against Paulie and Natalie last season.
All right.
And got put out.
And then you got tonight.
Here's the thing, like, people are like, do you believe that the curse is real? Like, so here's the stipulation of it. So we know about the Madden curse. Like, on video games, if you don't know, for whatever reason, going back like 12, 13 years now, whoever they put on the cover of Madden has an awful year or like career lows or gets hurt or something. It's just what happens, and I don't know what it is. Who was on this last season? Was it Antonio Brown?
It was.
And he's demanding a trade. He's unhappy with the organization. It happens.
They didn't make the playoffs.
That's it. It happens every year. It doesn't matter who's on. They put Peyton Hillis on one time, and then he was terrible after that.
Yeah, he had that one good year.
Other than maybe Drew Brees in like 2010.
They need to put Tom Brady on the cover. See what happens.
I wish.
See what happens.
I feel like he has been recently, but I've been out on Madden.
Yeah, I know.
Years,
but you know the curse. So there's people out there who are suggesting that there is a curse of the people who steal the money, because Bananas, I don't even think has made a final since Rivals 3.
No,
he is not.
So he definitely hasn't won since Rivals 3 when he took the money. So Ashley takes the money. First one eliminated.
Out. So
they're like, the curse of stealing from your partners continues. So Ashley and Bananas go back to back.
Is this the earliest Bananas has been eliminated in a challenge season since like his first couple seasons?
Yeah, his first season.
He was John,
and he got sent home first.
Since he was John and had the weird voice.
Well, speaking of that, people have been bringing up his voice this season.
It sounds weird.
Well, he's hoarse. Like, I think he's just been yelling a lot, and he's hoarse. And this episode, he kind of starts to get it back. But I was like, yeah, he sounds like John when he went home episode 1. I didn't know he was going home tonight.
I brought that up last week, though, that he was starting to sound like, hey, John.
Yeah, and again,
this is my voice.
I wish Abram was on this season. And just because, again, he loves calling him John. So I would like to see, and this has probably happened before, but like Prime Wes, well, I don't know about Prime, but like in their like heyday, Wes and Abram both going after Johnny.
John. We call him John.
I'm sure it's happened. I just can't think off the top of my head. Wes and Abram had to have overlapped, right? Because it seems like all the ones that Abram has come back for recently, Wes isn't on.
Right.
Like even going back to like the Island, Wes wasn't on that season. And
that's the one that Abram had to leave early for his
work
company.
And like Wes, when he was on like Rivals 2 and all that, Abram wasn't there. When he was on Rivals 3, Abram wasn't there. And then
Abram came in for
Bloodlines. And I don't know if I'll need to look that up. I'm sure there's people out there yelling at us right now.
Statman Paul, if you know.
Oh, he'll know.
Let us know, because it may take a while for us to find out.
Yeah, I mean, I can look it up. I just don't feel like comparing it right now because, again, it's 11:45, and so I'm sure it has to have overlap, but I really can't think of one. Like, because those are two guys that are not scared of Bananas.
Well, a season where they're both overlapping and Johnny is on the season.
Yeah, and just if you're a new listener, it's not that we hate Bananas. Like, I feel like, honestly, he's good for the show.
Yeah.
He's a good face to have, but...
I think he deserves a lot of crap after stealing all the money from Sarah, because she literally told him that it was her last season. She had just gotten married and she was going to pay off her student loans and start a family. She wanted to settle down.
I don't think from a moral standpoint it was the best thing to do, but from a reality TV standpoint, it's one of the best things that's ever happened to the show. And I'm sorry, because I know Sarah's really nice.
She deserved that win.
I'm not saying she didn't deserve it, because she did, but man, that was the first big bombshell. So it kind of lessens what Ashley did. But if Ashley was the first one, I'd probably say the same thing, because it changed everything. Like, that has never even been an option before. And so, I don't agree with everything he does. I do think he's ultimately good for the show, though. So we basically get into the tribunal voting at the killing floor. At this point, they can see it's like a big map, and it's tall. Like, it's what, 25 feet, 20 feet? Like, it's big.
It's a big old map.
Yeah. It's bigger than what I thought initially when they first showed it, and looks like some sort of magnet, like it's steel or something, and they have magnets of the countries. And they start going down. TJ's like, all right, the tribunal votes. He explains like it was last week. Even though you voted as a team for your nomination, each individual player gets a vote, which is what we saw last week with Josh flipping for... Oh, by the way, we screwed that up. I just realized that. Josh and Amanda were in the tribunal last week. They weren't a team that was up for elimination. But they're just a team with a target on their backs.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That's our fault. We just...
I did have one note about Amanda before the tribunal vote.
Yeah.
When she's having like a talk with Josh.
Oh, yeah. I did skip that.
She called him all kinds of awful names. He totally kept his cool. But then she says how she says that her drama has a purpose and that it works.
He did call her an effing idiot as well. They both were saying names, but she was definitely the more aggressive of the two. But he hit back at her and was like, yeah, and how many of these have you won? Because he just won Big Brother.
Yeah.
Well, reverse psychology works 100% of the time. So.
Was it Davon that was in there that was like, ah?
Yeah, and then Amanda got up to leave, and I think Davon was being genuine, like, no, come back. But it kind of reminded me of those times when, like, you're pretending to put up a fight. Like, oh, no, come back. Don't leave.
That's how I took it.
And, again, I'm starting to turn the corner on Davon a little bit.
Yeah, she's pretty funny.
I think she just needs to get away from Jose.
It was after this that Johnny had, like, the come to Jesus talk with Wes and Zach. But Zach was not even, like, he was totally zoned out, not paying attention, not listening or anything.
I legitimately thought at some point this episode, with the way that they were showing Zach and how, like, bummed out it seemed.
Checked out.
When they put him in the previews, I was like, even though Johnny's in elimination, I think something crazy might happen. Like, Zach's going to, like, volunteer himself, and he's just going to go home. Even when it came down to who Johnny picked, I was like, Zach's going to give up. I said it to you guys. I was like, he's not, his head's not here.
I was so worried about that.
So, yeah, anyway, going to the tribunal, TJ explains the individual votes. He's like, Polly, of course, sticks with Kyle. Ninja Natalie follows suit. Then he goes to Wes, because he knew where Wes's vote was going. He knew Cam and Ashley Kane were the swing vote. And so they stick pat with Bananas. And then
Dee says Bananas.
Yeah, it comes down to
it goes
Ashley.
to Ashley first.
Yeah, and he says he's going to stick with their vote. And
of Josh and Amanda.
Yeah, Josh and Amanda. And so Cam is like, I'm going to not change from my partners who we're sticking with.
But, like, even everybody else standing there was like, what are you doing?
Well, we'll have to wait, because I'm assuming there's going to be a tie later on. But TJ was like, are you guys sure you want this to end like this?
And Cam was not sure.
No, but
she didn't know what else to do. And TJ was trying to talk her out of it. He was trying to talk her out of it.
He was like, he was pleading, like, I'm going to give you the chance to change anything. And what I liked about Dee, who, if you haven't heard yet, we're interviewing on Sunday.
Yeah.
And they turned to look, and Dee's like, we're not changing. And I was like, she's got it. She's following. She knows Wes's game plan. And so Paulie and Natalie aren't going to change. And so TJ's like, are you sure? I think Cam even at that point asked, can anyone change their vote? And they're we're not doing it. And
I think Cam was too afraid.
I don't know. I think Cam was willing to just roll with. What I felt was that she was gonna just say, no, we're sticking with our vote. But even like Cara and the people in the audience are like, you don't know. He could send all three of you to go in an elimination.
And that was the thing. That's what I was thinking was any of those three were gonna have to like flip a coin and two of them go in. But Cam, with the vibes that I got from Cam were that she was like super nervous, but she didn't know what to do because she had already called out Josh and Amanda after telling them that they were burn votes. And then she said she was playing it safe. She said that she was playing a safe game.
And she wanted Amanda to know this wasn't personal.
Yeah, and she doesn't want to stir the pot anymore. And finally, TJ is like, okay, your time's up. Who is changing the vote? And Ashley speaks up.
So I just had a revelation while we were talking about that. We don't know if this is what happens because, again, we're spoiler free. What if this is the twist? If the tribunal can't come to an agreement on the team they're throwing in of the three, that they have up for nomination, what if TJ's like, okay, now they're the tribunal and they get to vote for one of the three that were in power to go into elimination? Because he was like, are you sure you want to do this?
Or, because I thought, my brain was going the same way you were, except I'm thinking, what if the tribunal had to vote on each other?
Yeah, it could be something like that. Again, it would not surprise me one bit if it's like a cannibalization thing, because they're wanting this season to be, it's
like cutthroat,
no holds barred. You're going for it, and I think it could easily go either way. Again, we'll have to wait until there's a tie later on.
I just hope it's not anybody I really like.
Yeah, but I mean, man, that's a big twist. The three lowest in power suddenly become the most in power. That'd be pretty significant.
Awesome. But no, Ashley piped up, and then I sighed a breath of relief.
It's good for Ashley. Like, again,
he's stepping up to the plate.
It made sense because his words were, I've not been here before. Again, I'm paraphrasing. But I know Bananas is like the name of this show. Like, he's the face of it. It's like, why not try to take that guy out? He's a tough competitor.
Exactly.
And I was like, that's the attitude. Yeah. That's what you should be doing.
That's the strategy.
Yeah. And so, again,
Wes was so happy.
Yeah. Nothing makes Wes happier than to get to like torment Bananas, or back in the day it was even CT as well.
But mostly Bananas.
Yeah. And who knows? Those guys may end up being in their 50s, just like best friends that go like golfing on the weekends.
Or in their 50s, still trying to one-up each other.
Or they're doing like geriatric challenges and like that they organize themselves.
Like shuffleboard.
Yeah. And
extreme shuffleboard.
So that's when Bananas voted in. And he's like, all right, you can pick anyone except the tribunal and except Hunter and Georgia.
Yeah.
And so,
because they were safe.
Again, we talked about don't think it'll be CT, don't think it's going to be Cara, really don't think it's going to be Zach, although it showed he's not happy with Zach right now.
Yeah.
Well, he picked Zach and Zahida.
After going on this weird speech about fake friends.
He's convinced that Zach struck a deal.
And I legitimately, like, again, yes, we like Wes in this situation. Like, we've all been fans of Wes. I legitimately think Zach was in the moment and he had his head somewhere else because, again, we just saw the big fight with Jenna.
He's so not in it.
I don't think he was thinking, and he was legitimate, and Wes was. Because I think if Wes had flipped one of Banana's friends, I think he would love nothing more than to hold that over. He would be like, yeah, I got one of your best guys to help me out, of course.
Yeah. And I think Bananas should have seen that. But he was a little short-sighted now that Wes is here. It's totally thrown him off his kilter.
And to be fair, even though Zach's a big guy, Zahida's unknown.
Yeah.
Morgan has one big brother. Banana's partner. Zahida's coming in off X off the beach UK.
On the beach. X on the beach.
What'd I say?
X off the beach.
Whatever. It's the UK version.
Off the beach. She's in the water.
So like she is a complete unknown at this point. And the basic, I don't think we ever got a name for this elimination. It's basically.
I did. I didn't write it down.
Well, I mean,
though.
like the official name.
Yeah, I did, but I didn't write it down.
Okay, I didn't even get it. I try to write that stuff down when I see it. But it's a two-sided, essentially steel, and you have magnets to 20 countries. You have 15 minutes to get all
as many as you can.
It's either first who gets all of them in place, or at the end of 15 minutes they add it up.
There's a 30 Seconds to Mars song.
Great.
From yesterday, and the chorus, or it's like a pre-chorus or something. He says, "On his face is a map of the world. Do you think this is the map?" He's a big map.
I mean, it was.
So he has a face that's 25 feet wide.
It literally was a map of the world.
Again, I don't want to talk about Jared Leto because
another one of your favorites from back in the day.
First of all,
by the way, I brought that up purely for Paulie.
Exactly.
He would appreciate it.
I knew you did.
Because there's a theory we have that he may listen.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's slowly changing into the Joker, so.
Yeah, it is true. Ever since we started mentioning Joker memes, it just like has exploded.
If he puts anything weird Joker horse related on his Instagram story,
we did it.
We know.
If he makes a story about him being a car being a horse and he rides her.
Something about a high horse?
Yeah.
Yes. That is our validation. And we've won.
Again, we follow him from our podcast accounts. We don't follow him personally, any of us.
I actually do now.
Do you now?
I follow him personally now.
Of course you do.
That's right, and I'm not the least bit ashamed of it.
You should be.
Keep throwing up in your mouths. It's totally fine.
Again, he's leaning into it at this point. And here's the only thing I think might be happening. Have you ever had like where you just bought a car recently?
I did. Love it.
Have you noticed since you've gotten that way more of those cars out on the road now?
Mine?
Yeah,
I actually have seen like 2 of like the exact car, just a different color.
That's what I'm saying. Like, because we were looking for cars a while back, and it's like when you get your mindset on like one thing, you just start seeing it over and over again, and even if normally it would have just kind of passed under the radar.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's happening with Paulie and the Joker, or is he legitimately like ramping it up like tenfold? Because it's getting weird, guys. Like, to the point that where some of them are getting deleted off of his stories, and then we have screenshots of them because we just send it because we think it's funny.
Wouldn't we? Why would we not have screenshots?
And it just keeps happening. But
anyway, so like this elimination, TJ explains it. One partner runs to the table, grabs the flags. You run it to your other partner who is
rock climbing
onto the weird metal map, and they have to put it on the correct country for that.
A map that was previously on someone's face, by the way.
Okay,
we can't confirm or deny it. Just like we can't confirm or deny if Mama Kim was alive or not early on. But we did. We solved it.
She's alive. She's alive and well. Yeah. Great mom.
Listen to our episode of The Ruins Recap 9 and 10.
The one
episode
right
33, the one right before this.
Amen on 3.
Amen on 3 if you don't know.
That is what it is. Yeah. So right away we realized this is a middle elimination, and Zach is so checked out, and I mean I started sweating bullets.
Well,
it made me nervous.
And when he started climbing, he was like, I've never rock climbed, but the hardest part is my hands and feet are so big they don't fit on here. And we saw Bananas later on was struggling with the same thing.
He struggled a lot.
And again, I thought this was something they'd both be scaling. It was just going to be a matter of accuracy.
Yeah.
But it turned out the physical side came into it. It even came down to like legitimately with like 3 seconds left, Johnny threw the Japanese magnet and it stuck directly on Japan.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy crap, what a clutch throw.
And I told myself, I'm going to be so mad if they win by one.
That would have, man, if that happened, that would have been insane.
Crazy. So immediately when they start, we see Zach struggle climbing the wall, and I started getting nervous that they were going to lose. But then Zahida shows up. She knows a lot of countries.
So, yeah, there were some big countries, like the U.S. was on there and things like that, and I think even Canada and Japan, like some pretty significant ones you would know.
Yeah.
But I figured it was going to get lost in the ones that are like small countries bordering with other countries.
Right.
Like Italy's shaped like a boot. You're going to know Italy. And so that's when Jenna brought up, like, Zach's actually pretty smart. I think he's even posted his grades on Twitter before because people are calling him dumb, like his transcript.
No, he's intelligent. It's just he he gets distracted.
He has that jock stereotype, like, oh, he's a big dumb jock, whatever.
Yeah.
But again, I thought Bananas would do good in this because, like someone pointed out, he's traveled all over the world doing these challenges, and we didn't count on Zahida being an X Factor.
Right. We find out tonight that she was born in Bangladesh, so she could tell Zach,
this is exactly
this is where this flag goes. I did think it was funny that he threw up the United Kingdom flag, and she's like, no, it needs to go further up. And he's like, no, it's right. And she's like, no, it needs to go further up.
Other than
she's from there.
Other than Bangladesh, like that is the one she would know more than anything. When that happened, I literally was like, she has the flag on her helmet. Like, she knows where it is. Leave her alone.
I just thought that was funny.
That's when I thought, I was like, oh, it's going to come down to they're going to lose because he's not paying attention or listening to her. But he did. He listened to her.
And once it got to Turkey, what was so funny was Zahida like turned to the sidelines and yelled out, "Turbo, where's Turkey?"
That's smart. Like, that's realizing someone on the sidelines is from this country.
They can help you.
Yeah, like that's just really smart, like spur of the moment thinking, because they didn't know Turkey and Bangladesh and whatever were going to be.
Zahida was playing on her toes tonight.
Yeah,
and it really paid off. I wrote my palms are really sweaty because it's close, and then
mom's spaghetti.
Yeah, mom's spaghetti. I wish I had my mom's spaghetti tonight. I was really craving it. So 2 seconds left is when Johnny throws up the flag for Japan.
That's still a heck of a throw.
He missed the first time.
He did, but he got it before time ran out.
I know. And then they finished. TJ's like, Johnny, 15. He got 15.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, they're going to tell Zach and Zahida that they got 14.
That's 75%. Like, that's good.
That's really good considering they were 20.
Yeah. And they teased it. Did you have something first?
You can finish it out. Okay. I got something.
They teased 15, and I was like, man, that's a pretty good score. That's a good C plus. Like
that's a good B plus. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about in like college grading. That's a C plus.
Oh.
And I was like, that's gonna be tough to beat. And then he's like, Zach and Zahida, 18, and I was like, holy crap. One, not that they pulled ahead, but like that they beat them by 3. And that's not counting the one that Johnny threw on at the last second. So they almost won by 4. But they sent Johnny home 2 eliminations in.
2 days in.
And it all came down to
Zahida.
Well, but I'm saying it all leads back to Zach throwing the ball ahead to Wes. That's what set this whole thing in motion, because then Wes is clear for that round. Wes nominates Johnny. Johnny gets in his own head about Zach, and then he nominates him.
If we're going to say that this all started with Zach throwing the ball, what happened was Jenna went up to Amanda getting all confident, like, what's this bomb you got to drop? And then Amanda drops the bomb.
That's not the bomb.
And then, the bomb, because it's not the real bomb.
Yeah.
But she drops that, and then that causes chaos in Jenna and Zach's relationship, and it throws Zach off kilter, and he's never been the same since. That is what set this up. So really, Amanda took out Johnny Bananas tonight.
Just a real quick note: Amanda said after that episode that wasn't the bomb.
Right. I've heard the same rumor come back up.
This is the rumor. Again, take it at face value or take it with a grain of salt, whatever you want to say about it. The rumor is that the actual bomb is that Tony Raines and Jenna hooked up at some point during all this, and Amanda either decided or production told her not to bring that up on the reunion because Tony was getting engaged
to Alyssa.
And if she would have done that right before a planned engagement, good Lord.
On national television.
Yeah. So if that is really what happened and production didn't like mandate that couldn't be talked about, and Amanda pulled back and said, I'll talk outside, but I'm not going to do it here. That's restraint on her part.
Yeah.
But that is the rumor.
She hates them.
That is the rumor that is going around, was that it's Tony and Jenna somehow hooked up. But again, I'm not confirming that at all.
The thing is, we normally wouldn't say like rumors like this on here, but this has been several months that this same rumor has just stayed at the surface.
Yeah.
Well, now that Zach won,
mm-hmm.
the other
Zahida
thing
won.
And Zahida won. The other thing that we know is that Kara's going to tattle on Kyle.
Yeah.
What the heck? Who cares?
It's so dumb. Like,
it's so middle school.
I didn't even write that down because I was like, I don't want to talk about it. But I mean, yeah, it is a point to bring up. Like, she's like, oh, I'm going to tell.
It's crazy, but it's not, just how intense she is on, like, making everything about Kyle and making sure she gathers any sort of ammunition on him.
Well, and it's also, to me,
because he's moved on, right? We would agree. He seems he's moved on.
He seems like totally undisturbed by her.
To be fair, it seems like he moved on when he left for Thailand and didn't talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Which is what started all this in motion. But it's the thing that's going to annoy me is if she does that and is like, oh, I'm telling on this, and then it blows up on her a little bit. And he's like, why are you talking about this? Or why do you care? Or someone's like, Kara, this isn't your situation. And she's like, I never wanted to be the center of attention. I'm just trying to be myself and be weird, but everyone keeps talking about me. Like, that's where it gets annoying.
She has de-aged. You would expect her to act like this when she was first coming on and making her way into the challenge and everything. Not when she's like in her early to mid-30s.
season?
You know?
Yeah.
Like, this is...
She's in her mid-30s.
Yeah, this is...
No, she's not that old.
She's like 34.
I'll look it up. I don't think she's that old. I think she may be like 32.
She,
Still,
that's not mid-30s.
Too old. Too old.
I'm not arguing that point.
Yeah.
Way too old.
She, by the way, if you type Cara Maria in Google, the first autocomplete is Cara Maria and Polly breakup.
Hey.
Just heads up.
I wish they were still broken up. Anyway, I don't want to end...
32. Yeah.
I do not want to end this episode talking about Cara. No, I'm not doing it. After the win, I didn't write anything about Zach. I just wrote Zahida. Yeah, because she did a lot of it. She did a lot of the work because Zach was not focused. He was all over the place, and she was the one telling him, hey, put this one here, move it a little to the left, move it further up. This one goes there, and that dark orange one. She was totally laser focused. She proved to be a better mental competitor than we expected. I mean, we didn't know what to expect from her very much, but she said she came on here to prove that she didn't need a boyfriend in her life, and she can do things on her own. This was, she said she's using this season of the challenge to prove that she can make it on her own. And the more I see her, the more I like her. I was really hoping that they didn't go home yet. One, because Zach and Jenna have never had a season of the challenge that they were both on together, while together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she
went home immediately.
Well, no one went home immediately.
Well, she went to Redemption House, but basically went home. And so, I mean, I was just excited for her. Also, Paulie, it cut to Paulie right after they announced the win, and you could see him standing a little bit behind Wes, but just looking at the back of his head and smiling like he was really elated for Wes, which I thought was kind of like a genuine, like, human moment.
I think Paulie wishes he was Wes.
I can
You're
see
just
that.
you're
I
just
can
trying to
see
get
that.
her eyes.
I can see that. I can see that.
He said he was not Wes.
He was
speaking.
a big fan.
Paulie was a fan of, which is why
fan of the show.
He's like, I'm gonna
do things with Cara.
That girl to his roommates, and I bet he's like, I'm gonna be Wes's friend.
Well, you remember when CT entered the Redemption House last year? He was like, CT, big fan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
That's what I'm pulling
from.
And so, yeah, again,
it's weird.
I will say he probably was happy Johnny went home too.
Yeah, no. I just in that moment that we saw him looking at Wes, like he was really excited for him. I saw that as a genuine moment where he was not in character, and it was just him being a human and being happy for someone else. And then my last note was quote from Zahida: "This is the first trophy I've ever won in my life."
Yeah, thanks to Zach.
Well, I think the great thing we can come away with here is that we may have got a confirmation from Wes that this is not his last season.
I missed the.
He said, "I will not stop trying to take out bananas until he retires."
Yeah, until he formally retires. Yeah,
right.
He did say that.
Oh yeah.
So,
How much longer do we think Johnny's got in him? Because he keeps going home earlier and earlier, especially after this one. This is a big blow to his ego.
This might be the earliest he's gone home since.
well, he said his
John's
legacy is
season.
at stake.
Yeah.
Like before the elimination started, he was talking about his legacy, and
since
so
he was John.
yeah.
It's like he was a totally different person then.
I know there was one like Battle of the Seasons. Wes went home first elimination. After he had, he's already established at that point.
Yeah, but that one was kind of set up against him.
Yeah, I mean Lacey's not going to really help anybody. And no offense to Lacey, she's not made for the challenge. And then you had Danny and Melinda who were divorced,
but still partners.
Yeah, again, that was a weird. That whole season's weird, but it introduced us to Marie, who
I know. I was about to say it was Marie's first season.
Again, heck of an elimination. We talked about quickly as this episode ended. This season is really good so far, and we're 3 episodes in.
It's intense.
I don't know if it's just because of what we got out of the last 3, other than a few like really highlight moments. I think this season's already better than those 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or it's going to end up being, at least. I'll say that.
Well, I mean, we already have a teaser for next week. There's a double elimination.
Yeah. And stuff like that I was wondering about because, again, the rumors is 13 episodes, so they're going to have to do some weird stuff.
I've seen that a lot. I've seen 13 episodes a lot.
So we'll see what happens. Who knows? So let's get into the superlatives for tonight. I'm going to go first tonight because I actually have them written down. I usually try to go off the top of my head.
Okay.
I'm going who smashed heads? Wes.
I don't know how you can go any other.
You could. I think you can go Zahida or Zach because they took him out. But I think this goes back. He's like, I got my shot. I'm taking it. It worked flawlessly. Now he didn't plan on him calling out Zach to take him out.
No.
But again, that's why you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
That's right.
Yep.
And again, I think that proves it. Wes, here's how ballsy it was, Joe, for real. This is what Wes's first real season back in 6
Rivals 3.
seasons, Rivals 3,
several years.
Yeah. It would have been a big blow to him if it backfired on him.
Yes. Because it was a ballsy move.
But we saw last season even Johnny's numbers are not what they used to be.
No.
And then he turned on one of the guys who legitimately seemed to like not try to screw him over. It just happened.
Yeah.
So who knows? If Johnny comes back in another season, it may be completely different because a lot of people were complaining about the casting of this season because they're like basically Johnny got his wish other than, Wes and maybe 1 or 2 others. All the people who gunned for him all the time
are not on it.
They're not there other than Hunter.
Yeah.
Because Hunter, you got to bring Hunter back.
Yeah,
Hunter and Ashley after last
whole
season.
thing. But I mean, we don't see Corey. We don't see Devin.
Nelson.
Tony.
Yeah, again, like there's a lot of big names that would have gone after him. Now, him and Tony probably amended things since last season.
But still, Tony crossed him.
Yeah, and that's why they were partners last season.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, a lot of people are like, oh, Bananas handpicked this cast. I don't think that's true, but
I think he had a say in it.
I don't think he ever expected to go home this early.
No.
So, again, Wes is my pick for who smashed heads tonight.
Yeah.
Is it unanimous?
No.
Okay.
I didn't want to. I didn't think about Wes. I agree with that one, but I have to give it to Zahida because just from what we had seen so far, I don't think anybody expected her to do a very good mental game, and she did a lot of the work on this.
She single-handedly got them 3 countries: Bangladesh, the UK, and Turkey from yelling at Turbo.
Yeah.
And so
and that could have been the 3 that
would have
won
been
it.
Possibly been a tie. I think he would have got the UK, but it was in the wrong spot.
Yeah,
so,
and he did argue with her for a minute.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say about Wes real quick
is
that CT made a statement that this could be Wes's masterpiece. I mean, this could be Wes's game.
So
what if Wes wins this whole challenge?
We don't know what happens. If he took years off to like build his company, only to come back on one of the like most hyped seasons of all time, and then takes Johnny out as his first agenda, and then wins.
Yeah,
I'm gonna flip.
Good Lord.
I'm gonna flip tables. I'll flip this table.
You couldn't flip this table.
I could.
This is a solid wood table.
I could flip it.
Or granite.
I'm gonna flip it.
This is not granite.
Granite. Do you know what granite is?
I'm aware of what granite is.
You
There's
know-
a tablecloth on here, but
But it doesn't.
It's actually just a sheet.
it doesn't knock like granite.
So yeah, that's my pick for
Granite is solid rock.
who got smashed. Gotta go with Bananas. It's the obvious choice, or I could get tricky with it and say Bananas' ego.
Okay.
But I mean, there's no way after what happened last season, and like him coming in here, the cast seemingly more so on his side than past seasons. There's no way he thought he was going home this early, especially when his partner had just won Big Brother not long ago.
Yeah.
It's not like he was stuck with Shailene or one of the twins or anything like that. Like
Well, not one of the twins, the twin that made it on
well,
the
I'm
show.
saying either of them. Like it's not like
Yeah.
he got stuck with either of them. And so, again, that's a big blow, guys. I don't like to typically go who lost, but
Mm-hmm.
you got to at this point. And I'll probably respectfully disagree if you say otherwise.
Well,
You're wrong.
actually,
You're wrong.
Tender Chase. Wait a second, he's gone.
That's a great joke.
No, I listed him the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
All right. No, the only other thing you can mention is the waistline of CT, which was
Why did you brought it up twice?
yeah, well they stuck it right in our faces tonight. They
Hey,
did.
but you know what? He didn't go home.
He did
That's
not.
right. He didn't.
He's still here.
He didn't.
What's yours?
He and his waistline survived. I wrote Bananas, but I didn't want to go with exactly who lost, so I ended up with Morgan because before they picked their teams, Morgan approached Johnny and was trying to strategize with him, saying if the new people are teamed with vets, then you're the person that I want to go for because you're the one that runs the show and blah blah blah.
On paper, they were a strong team.
Yes, and even when they went into the plead your case thing with the tribunal, she stood there as though she did not honestly believe that they would be voted in. There was a part of her that believed the other two teams were too scared to vote for Johnny, and I think Johnny kind of felt that way a little bit too. And so, especially because Pauly is so bent on Kyle, she didn't think that the other Cam and Ashley would vote for them. So she had a lot of pride in her partnership with Johnny, and I really believe that when they became partners, she thought that she was going to win this season. So to go home second, I think was a huge head smashing.
Shout out to Dee for picking West, thinking he didn't have any past drama going on. But
there's no way he's got any rivals.
It's worked out really well.
Yeah.
All
He's
right.
the perfect person to
So
pick.
let's get into high school album of the week. I'll go first since I already went first on the other one. If I have said this band, it's on accident because Jake and myself talk about music sometimes that we're thinking about for the show. I'm going with Hot Cross, a band called Hot Cross.
You're wearing their shirt.
I am wearing their shirt, and that was completely coincidental. I found the shirt like 2 days ago. But going with them, their album Cryonics, that's the one I listened to in high school all the time, and that's, again, it's not going to be for everybody. It's not on Spotify. You probably have to get on YouTube or something to listen to it. But they do have another one on Spotify called Risk Revival, which is pretty good, but it's not as good as this one. So that's my pick.
I went the legendary route tonight, going with the bangers, plural, that Chevelle put out, and Wonder What's Next.
I'll give you that album.
That is a great rock and roll album.
Everything after that, no. But
No, you're
that
right.
album
That
and the one
album-
before, the one that had Point Number 1 and things like that, I'll give you those. Because I think those still hold up, even if they're like a little like butt rock. Should have been. I think they literally were on like the Punisher movie, which was not a good movie. But yeah, everything after that sucked. But that album, it holds up, man. It really does. And I don't like nu metal or like that type of stuff, but it's good. So, and also 3 brothers.
That's right.
They homeschooled, grew up all playing different instruments.
That's how Kings Leon was.
There's more than 3 of them.
Well, cousins.
I know.
I don't know that the Avett brothers were homeschooled, but it's two brothers and their cousins that make up their band. Speaking of which, either of those bands, if you're really interested, listen to everything.
Actually,
always.
I don't care either way. Honestly.
I love them both. My album, I can't remember exactly when this came out, so it could have been after I graduated high school.
Well, to be fair, you abandoned the high school album part of it.
Well, I know
ago.
that this one came out sometime in 2013, so it could have been after I graduated. Beyonce's self-titled album, Beyonce.
I thought initially you said Beyond Saved, and I was like, I don't know that one.
Beyond Saved?
I don't have a problem with Beyonce. It's fine with me.
I prefer Destiny's Child Beyonce.
4-member or 3-member?
4-member.
Smart guy era.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
But shout out to Taj Mowry.
I love Beyonce all the time, so whatever.
So for the movies this week, the year is 2006. There was a lot to pick from. This is the heyday of high school renting a ton of weird indie movies for me. I'm gonna go with the complete opposite of that. The one that won Best Picture that year. It's very not children friendly. It's the opposite of what our show would be. It's The Departed.
Oh yeah, it's a good one.
Martin Scorsese, Leonardo DiCaprio versus Matt Damon. Essentially, they're trying to infiltrate each other's organizations.
Two of my favorite people.
Jack Nicholson, Alec Baldwin, Mark Wahlberg. It's a huge cast, and
I love Mark Wahlberg.
That movie is great. And now it is, again, very, very profanity driven, and because it's about Boston crime, and so. But yeah, that movie, it won Best Picture for a reason. Like it has a huge twist at the end, and it's great, awesome movie. So that's my pick. I could have went like Little Miss Sunshine or Borat,
which is the two that I thought you were gonna pick.
Yeah. I almost went with Little Miss Sunshine too.
It's a good movie.
It's easily in my top 5.
Steve Carell in a more serious role.
Yeah.
But before this, so it's 06 before The Office took off.
Yeah.
Because that started in 05.
And so. It's a good movie. It's a good date movie. It's a good just throw it in and watch it movie. But the one I went with is I think the one that has had the most impact on me, and that's The Pursuit of Happiness.
That's a good movie. My mom loved that movie.
It is a good movie.
It is an incredible.
It's kind of can be a little cheesy at sometimes, but it is a great movie. Like
great movie.
Yeah. Will Smith, baby Jaden before.
Yeah.
Jaden's only good performance, actually.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree.
Yeah,
that's hard.
Man, when he like bars himself in the bathroom and he's crying and they don't have anywhere else to sleep that night, based on true story too.
Yeah.
That is a good movie. I haven't watched that in probably since
it was on
when
Netflix a couple months ago, and I watched.
I remember
it
popped up. I haven't seen it since it was released from theaters. My mom rented it, and I watched it with her, and she cried the entire time.
Such a good movie.
It's a good movie. It is a good movie.
A good movie.
I didn't get that far down on the list because The Departed was the best picture, and I was like, I can't not pick that.
When he gets the job, spoiler alert, God dog it. He's got that look on his face. He's got his fist up against his face, and he's just clapping real intense. It's like, dude.
Possibly one of his best dramatic roles.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like ever.
Yes.
Other than when he cried why he not want me no more. When he's talking about his dad.
Oh yeah, Fresh Prince. Yeah.
Other than that, that probably.
What about when he had to kill his German Shepherd Sam in I Am Legend?
I mean, yeah.
That I have seen that movie countless times, and I still cry every single time.
We went with your dad to go see that movie in theaters.
Ah, that's weird.
Yeah, we did.
Well, let's see what he does with the genie.
Yeah. Oh man. I'm not. Okay.
I don't know.
I'm not getting into that.
Okay, my movie. I had the opposite reaction to 2006. I did not see like an overwhelming
I saw a lot.
majority of really great movies that just left a great impression on me. I was a little disappointed with this year, but I still got a pretty good movie out of it. The Devil Wears Prada, It's another one of those movies, doesn't matter what point in the movie it's on. If it's just on TV, I'll just stop what I'm doing and watch the rest of it.
I've literally never seen it.
It's so good. I'm a big Anne Hathaway fan. I really like her, especially since The Princess Diaries. Spoiler alert, she did confirm there is a new Princess Diaries coming out, and Julie Andrews is confirmed to join her, who is her grandmother, the Queen of Genovia. But love Anne Hathaway. I love Meryl Streep all the time. Emily Blunt is in it also. She plays an interestingly weird character.
John Krasinski's wife.
Yes, yeah. But her character in that movie is like really snotty and you don't like her. But it's a great movie. Great movie.
Probably the opposite of The Departed.
There is, tying it back to The Office, there is a point in one of the later seasons where Michael runs into the office, and like there's a whole thing where Pam explains that when he rents a movie, he watches it like he doesn't watch it all the way through in one night. So he'll watch it a little bit and like rewind it and watch it again, like that section, and then come into the work the next day with like quotes from the movie. And so he comes in one morning and he is like, get Prada on the phone. Get Prada on the phone. And she's like, he's watching The Devil Wears Prada. And then she's like, I don't think he's personified the character of Meryl Streep, and he's acting like he's her because he's the boss of the office. And she's like, I don't think he's seen the end of the movie yet. And then the very next day he comes in that morning. He's like, I'm so sorry I treated you that way.
I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know.
No, but you've listened to the band.
You know what? No.
Have you?
I mean, I've heard them, and like I'm aware of them. I didn't like them. I will say the guitar that I play, their guitar player loves, and he plays as well. So
shout out to The Devil Wears Prada, the band.
Shout out to Dunnable Guitars.
Well, shout out to the Devil Wears Prada movie. If you are a fan of The Office,
shout out to Kanye West.
Watch that.
Devil Wears Prada, Adam and Eve wear nada.
He's not wrong.
That's right.
Yeah, so anyway, if you made it this far in,
this is the end.
This is the end, which is another movie. But send your questions in for Dee. If you don't remember our social media plugs, I'm not going to repeat them. Just listen to the first part of the podcast again.
We do need questions by Saturday.
Yeah, we'll need questions for Dee, so get those in. You got a couple days, and until then, I don't know when that episode will drop, even if we record Sunday, because I have to edit them. I will let everyone know when they're going to drop. But other than that, we'll see you next week. There will be no more Ruins podcasts because it's done.
Oh, we did finish that.
Mm-hmm. So go back and listen to those if you haven't yet.
Sorry, I'm trying to do something cool. Don't just ignore the ad.
You know,
we don't have the rights to these ads.
Why is it playing two ads?
This is the second time Jake's pulled up YouTube videos with ads at the beginning.
And I've told him not to. Why are you? Why?
I'm taking us out with cats and heat.
This is the same video. You should have known that there was an ad. There was an ad the first time.
Well, we'll go out on that sound, and we will see you next week.
Have a good night, everyone.